I grew up in a quiet coastal town in Maine, small enough that most people knew each other's names, but big enough that there were still pockets of land no one went to after dark. There's one place in particular the locals avoided, Crooked Marsh, a tangled wetland that bordered the edge of town. It wasn't dangerous in the traditional sense, no steep cliffs or wild animals, but it was the kind of place that just felt wrong. Kids dared each other to spend the night there, but no one ever made it past midnight. They said the place had a way of getting into your head. I never believed that kind of stuff. That is, until what happened last September. I was 23 at the time, fresh out of college, back in town with too much time and too many bad habits. That Friday night, all my friends were out of town, and I didn't feel like staying cooped up in my parents' basement. I just wanted to smoke a little, clear my head. So I grabbed a hoodie, a flashlight, and my pack, and headed to Crooked Marsh. It had rained earlier that day, so the ground was soft and everything smelled like wet pine and rot. The sky was overcast, but the full moon still managed to leak through in patches. The trail twisted through the trees before leading to a narrow wooden bridge that spanned a stretch of still, black water. On the other side was a small island, more like a mound of dry earth with a few dead trees clinging to life. That's where I was headed. I've been out there alone before. It's peaceful in a strange way. And I've never had a problem. But that night, something felt different. Before crossing the bridge, I took out my earbuds. The silence hit me hard, no bugs, no wind, just the sound of my own breathing. I scanned the island with my flashlight. Nothing. I stepped onto the bridge. The boards groaned under my feet, wood creaking, but held steady. Halfway across, I paused and glanced back. Just trees and darkness behind me. I pressed on. The air on the island felt heavier, colder. I made my way to the spot under a gnarled old tree that locals call the Widow. Its limbs stretched like twisted fingers toward the sky. I always joked it looked like something out of the Blair Witch Project. I leaned against the trunk and lit up, letting the smoke calm my nerves. That's when I saw him. At first, I thought it was a shadow. But as my eyes adjusted, I realized there was a man, standing perfectly still on a fallen log about 20 feet away. He was naked. Pale skin almost glowing in the moonlight. Arms stretched out to his sides in a stiff, unnatural pose, like a scarecrow. He didn't move. Didn't say a word. Just stared down at me with this blank, glassy expression. I froze. My heart dropped into my stomach. I barely remember dropping the joint, I just remember stumbling backward and nearly tripping over my own feet. I shouted, "Hey! What the hell are you doing?" No response. Then, he did something that still makes my skin crawl. He stepped off the log and started walking toward me. Slow. Arms still outstretched. His feet didn't make a sound on the wet leaves. I pulled out the small knife I carried and tried to steady my voice. "Back off. I've got a knife, man." Still nothing. Just that steady, silent walk. I turned and bolted. Back toward the bridge. The boards bounced under my weight as I crossed, rapid footsteps on wood, and I didn't stop until I was on the far side. I turned, expecting him to be gone. But he was there. Already halfway across the bridge. That bridge is narrow and wobbly. You have to hold both rails just to cross safely. But he was walking with arms straight up in the air, not even touching the rails. He glided like the bridge wasn't even there. That's when he smiled. His lips peeled back unnaturally far, revealing teeth that didn't match his face, too white, too straight, like they'd been stolen from someone else. I ran. I tore through the woods, branches slicing my face, lungs burning. Heavy breathing, branches snapping. I could hear him behind me, his bare feet slapping the wet ground, his voice gurgling something incomprehensible. And then, suddenly clear as day. "I'm gonna eat you." I stumbled into a thorn bush, thrashed my way out, tore my jacket, lost my flashlight, didn't care. I ran until I hit the streetlights near the park entrance. Only then did I look back. Nothing. No one. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. The next morning, I told my friend Marcus. He didn't believe me at first, but agreed to come with me back to the marsh, just to shut me up. In daylight, everything looked smaller. Less threatening. But when we got to the bridge, he stopped cold. "This thing's barely holding together," he said. "No way someone walked across this without grabbing the rails." He was right. Even with both of us stepping carefully, the bridge creaked like it was ready to collapse. There were no signs of clothing, no blankets, no evidence anyone had been living there. Just footprints, bare ones, deep in the mud, circling the tree where I'd been standing. I haven't gone back since. A few days ago, though, I was biking near the edge of town when I saw him again. I swear it was the same man, naked except for a tattered blanket, crouching behind a tree, watching a woman walk her dog. He was talking to the tree. Like it was responding. I reported it, of course. Turns out a patient escaped from a psychiatric facility about 5 miles from Crooked Marsh that same week. They haven't found him. I try to tell myself it was just a very disturbed man. That there's no such thing as whatever it felt like I saw that night. But when I close my eyes, I still see him. Standing on that log. Arms out. Smiling. Waiting.